at the top of the leaderboard in the Grandchester standings.
But this is the guy to watch because last year he won both the Rapid Blitz as well as the St. Phil Cup to leapfrog everybody and take the title and the $100,000. I think we calculated something like a $220,000 3-week period there for Alireza. So 1.2 million in total prize fund.
Not too bad.
As we see the players, what they're doing there, we just saw Nepo. He signed a certificate. So what these pieces are, they're the House of Stamp pieces, and they're
to be quite a dynamic opening, quite a dynamic play. You mentioned the move F4 that has been chosen by Jan Nepomniachtchi. It might not be very popular at the moment in this particular position, but it's a move that eventually does pop up on the board. You want to keep that e-pawn, the central e-pawn, be quite a dynamic opening, quite a dynamic play. You mentioned the move F4 that has been chosen by Jan Nepomniachtchi. It might not be very popular at the moment in this particular position, but it's a move that eventually does pop up on the board. You want to keep that e-pawn, the central e-pawn, defended. Often we will see black go castling on the queen side. The bishop that is on a6 pins that c4 pawn, so you don't need to rush about with your central knight retreating, which often enough, yes, falls to the b6 square.
exactly.
Where it puts pressure on the c4 pawn, and we see these positions with long side castling and a break with d6 or f6.
Exactly.
And that's why f4 at some point does arise, and it looks like Jan's the one who's prepared a little bit of a surprise here.
Except when I break down the position for me mentally, what I see is a disharmony in White's development. For example, his queen is sitting in front of his bishop, right? These pieces are all on the first rank, obviously. And I'm sitting there going, how does f2, f4 help my cause? You mentioned, yes, you do need your pawn defended on e5, and so f4 is useful. Except I'm sitting there going, okay, how are you going to develop? Are you going to go fall back on g3?
Oh, I think that's a very silent question, and there is a good answer. We will give Black real dust castle. We will find out, but
what it is. He looks comfy enough. I mean, of course, castles is, as you said, Tanya, a very natural move. And I think he flicked out g6 or g5.
I think that was g5, yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah, he did.
I like it.
You said g5 can be played. It should maybe be played, but only after some preparation. I don't know if Alireza
pawn is a deflection to that g2 pawn that supports the knight. So there's a little trick on the board. I feel that Alireza, yes, potentially. I feel that Alireza will try and push this. With the bishop pair and more activity, having this play there where you can come forward with your king on the king side, march up the board, there's still a lot left to be played for.
There is a lot to be played for, but I'm not a big fan of this last move, rook f8. I thought e3 was the most straightforward and obvious. Excuse me, I'm just going to put it. You're mentioning bishop h3, Tanya, as what the move rook f8 did. I thought rook e3 did the same thing, but maybe even a little bit more convincingly. I mean, after all, rook g3 is a better square for the rook than f8.
Yes, absolutely. But I think what he didn't like about this move is perhaps the move rook to f1. And you hit the bishop, and that bishop doesn't have a very nice square.
Right.
And maybe this is something that, because you really want your rook on e3.
Yes,
you really want it.
I did want it, I guess. But let's just catch up with the players. Sorry.
Instead, he went with rook to f8.
Because it seems like the players actually know what they're doing
Very quickly. Bishop e4 stops any potential threats on the f3 knight, and now black starts expanding on the king's side, controlling the b4 break that would have given white activity.
King d3. But the question is, who's made more progress in the last two moves? It feels to me like with the bishop on e4 and the king on d3, that was a serious improvement from white's side. There's no bishop b7 to tickle the knight anymore, Peter. Or am I splitting hairs? Is it too balanced?
I think it's very balanced. I also wanted to play the role of the resident posture, body language expert. Because I thought the way Jan played those bishop before and king e3 moves indicated, at least to me, and I've watched him play a lot the last couple of decades,
right?
That he was maybe getting a little bit interested there. I think you can sort of imagine white. A lot of things have to happen for white to be seriously better, but I think it looked to me like he was thinking, why is the long diagonal being abandoned for me? Like, why am I getting all of these improvements?
Let me jump and make my claim.
Maybe I can start playing, if not sort of outright for a win, but maybe I can look for improvements. But I think a5 followed by bishop g3.
At least in this particular reason, by the way, a draw.
A result coming in just as we left it.
Just as we left it. Knight a5 by Wesley, and jump in, Peter, on this one. I mean, if I'm in Wesley's shoes,